Hi friend, I'm Shauna. Welcome to the channel and welcome to that spicy juicy video that I promised you earlier this week, last week. I might have overhyped it like a smidge, but this is the topic or the take that I've had the most disagreements with, or people have disagreed with me the most. When I was talking about this subject, I did not expect it to be a big deal or something that people would have very strong opinions on. And this is it, which is, I think, is just what makes this more interesting. Like when you see the topic, you're like, really, that's it? But that's it. So today we're going to be talking about birthday spending and the adjacent but related topic of, treating yourself, which is interwoven in this kind of special occasion spending. In this video, I am going to be hyperbolic, okay? If you're one of the people who has publicly disagreed with me or comment to my DMs, I'm not attacking you. This is not an attack. Feel free to disagree with me. We absolutely do not need to agree on things. And also, this is light. Like, this is not actually something that we need to be up in arms about, or that I'm actually up in arms about. We're just being a little playful today. Okay, so this all started last year when I made a video that was talking about the you deserve it mentality. Before we can go on to the topic of treating yourself, special occasion spending, birthday spending, we need to do just a small recap on the you deserve it mentality. It's very simple, and all it is a rationale or justification that we tell ourselves in order to treat ourselves. It's really just a justification, a way of thinking, a thought process that we tell ourselves in order to buy something that we want to buy. Bad day, sad day, good day, exciting day, special occasion, you deserve a treat. You deserve it. And ultimately, when we're saying you deserve it, it's usually in the framework of a treat. And the crux of today's conversation is really about how do you frame treats? Because birthday spending, which is what we're going to be spending most of our time with today, is a form of a treat. The stuff that we buy ourselves for our birthdays are usually framed as treats. I'm convinced that some of you didn't listen to that video, because so many of you, I swear, felt like I was telling you that you can't buy yourself treats. I feel like some of y'all felt personally attacked. Is she really telling me I can't buy myself treats? I can't buy myself this thing. I can't buy myself that thing. No. And I'm not some holier than thou person on a high horse who is I never buy myself treats, and anybody who buys a treat is just I don't know what word I would use, but that's not what I'm actually thinking. And I do buy myself treats too. On the real though, I really feel like some of y'all who were disagreeing felt judged. And I think there's a lot of folks who felt like they were being told, or what they were hearing was, you can't celebrate yourself, or I'm telling you that you shouldn't celebrate yourself. A lot of y'all in the comments and in my DMs were saying that you feel special, or your birthday is the perfect time to buy yourself a gift, or treat or a gift, because you don't have anybody in your life who give you a gift, or you don't spend money on yourself in the rest of the year. It's a tradition. It's some way that you kind of feel special. Now I'm going to jump back to these comments later on in the video as I kind of talk more about this subject. Now let's really just get into the meat of the video now. My main gripe with birthday spending is if it's used as a way to feel special. And I personally do not want to validate my existence with stuff. Buying ourselves treats feels good normally for one of two reasons. Number one, because of the dopamine hit. It feels good to make that purchase. It's just an enjoyable experience. But also, buying treats is a form of emotional spending. Third Wonder writes that emotional spending around treats is situational and reactionary. So it's a reaction to an event or a circumstance in our life, and it helps us to regulate and process our emotions, good and bad. Y'all, so many of us are very bad at regulating and processing our emotions. And one of the reasons why is because many of us were not taught explicitly how to do that. And I came across this video a while back about a woman who was talking about the difference between intellectualizing your emotions and feeling your emotions or your feelings. It's one thing to know that you feel sad or anxious. It's your birthday. Maybe you're like kind of freaked out about turning 29 because of X, Y, and Z reasons. Maybe. Or maybe you're just like excited or grateful that you made it another year on the planet. It's another, though, to actually sit with your feelings of sadness, uncomfortability, happiness, or whatever they are. I have a sneaking suspicion that this plays a role in the way some of us birthday spend or treat spend. You're trying to tell me that you feel literally nothing about it being your birthday. Like nothing, no emotions at all about getting older. Getting older isn't a bad thing. Some years it can be a real privilege that you're alive, that you made it, that you're here, and that you're with us, you're proud. Milestones, there's a lot of that. But other years, it could just be like, what the hell was that? What was year 22? What the hell was year 25? Like, excuse me. I've had both. I want to now talk about this quote from Psychology Today on treats because I want to unpack it here. The other day I was talking to a friend about treats and he told me I don't give myself any treats. This comment prompted me to pursue two different lines of thought. First, whether or not he did give himself treats, he thought of himself as a person who doesn't give myself treats. In terms of habits, that seems risky to me. It might seem stoic or selfless or driven not to give yourself treats, but I'd argue against that assumption. When we don't get any treats, we start to feel deprived. Feeling deprived is a very bad frame of mind for good habits. When we feel deprived, we feel entitled to put ourselves back in balance. We say, I've earned this, I need this, I deserve this, and feel entitled to break our good habits. Second, I suspect that he did in fact give himself treats. He just didn't think of them as treats. And indeed, after 1 minute of questioning, he came up with a great example. Every week he buys himself new music. For something to be a treat, we have to think of it as a treat. We make something a treat by calling it a treat. When we notice our pleasure and relish it, the experience becomes much more of a treat. Even something as humble as herbal tea or a box of freshly sharpened pencils can qualify as a treat. This, I suspect, plays into the birthday treating as well. Maybe you're somebody who truly doesn't buy yourself treats throughout the year, or maybe you're somebody who just views yourself as not a treat person. It's very easy to miss out on all the ways that we do actually treat ourselves, and we're creating this false sense of deprivation that doesn't actually match reality. What is valuable to consider are things like takeout. Do you view that as a treat or an every day or every week habit? How about coffee? What about a night out with your girls, or new makeup you bought, or books, or home decor? What do you view as a treat? Because my take is that most of us buy something in one of these categories, but do not frame it as a treat. The quote from Psychology Today really resonated with me because I have viewed myself as not a treat person. And I was like, I don't give myself treats. I'm not like that. I actually had a really interesting conversation with my partner about takeout a couple weeks ago, and he very much opened my eyes to how I had been viewing something like buying Pillsbury cookies from the grocery store, or like a box pizza or something. And I was so adamant that I was not a takeout girly, and that I was like, if I lived alone, truly was alone, and like our eating preferences were influencing each other, I was like, I wouldn't have takeout. I wouldn't be having treats. And he was like, you're really trying to tell me that your ass would not be going out to the store to buy dill pickle chips, to buy Pillsbury cookies, box pizza? I was like, yeah, I would. And the point isn't to say or like to shame me or you about liking to eat a pint of Ben & Jerry's ice cream or eating your dill pickle chips. But the fact that I viewed a treat as strictly takeout, and therefore I'm not a takeout person or a treat person in that capacity, but was not viewing other treats as treats. There's an opportunity to relish those when we have them, But also, we're creating this deprivation that is not actually true. We're framing what are treats as an everyday habit. Point I'm trying to make here is not about the money, but about the mindset. And so we can feel compelled to buy ourselves treats around our birthday to make ourselves feel more special because we believe that we don't when we do. Y'all, if you're somebody who's cutting back on spending or shopping, your birthday can really be this, this window or this opportunity to overspend. In the past, like my number one reason for buying myself something on my birthday was because it's my birthday. And that's so surface level. And there's reasons why we would say because it's my birthday. And now I know aspects of other things played a role. At the very least, I'm not a treat person. Or validating my existence with stuff, which we'll talk about in just a minute. Now, let me give you an example of cutting back potentially leading to overspending around your birthday because of all of these factors too that they combine together. In 2021, I was on the channel and my birthday's in very early July and I moved into my very first place on June 1st. I was on a no-buy for a little bit leading up to it and after as well. It continued into July and August, I think until September or October. I can't quite remember. The move out period was a very emotionally difficult time. And, 1 month later is my birthday and I went online and I shopped up a storm. I remember buying some shoes from Aldo. I bought at least 2, but it might have been 4. Not gonna lie. Did you ever hear me talk about it on the channel? No. I also bought some clothes and I showed some of those on the channel, ones I kept, but I bought more with the intention of keeping them. All in all, it was $600 or $700 worth of stuff that I returned almost all of it, except the few stuff that I actually did need, like shorts. I realized that it was a bad idea, that I was spending money I didn't have, that I also just spent a lot of money on moving out. And the whole reason for the no-buy was to make room for a circumstance that couldn't really have been planned. And I went off the deep end because it was my birthday and I wanted to feel special. I wanted to feel good. During the time I wasn't able to see the forest for the trees. Turns out I had a lot of emotional baggage from the situation that just happened that just wasn't resolved. And I was on a no-buy and I wasn't buying anything fun. Shopping for my first place there was some fun in that, but it wasn't the situation that I wanted, that I had envisioned for myself or I had hoped for, a more positive situation. On top of that, I hadn't purchased anything fun in months, nor would I be for the foreseeable future. And ultimately, my birthday felt like a really justifiable reason to buy stuff. I felt like it was an actual justifiable exception to the no-buy. Now, what do I mean by validating our existence with stuff? Imagine it's your birthday. Or think back to your last birthday. It rolls around. Is your birthday any less meaningful or special because you don't get gifts from anybody? Not yourself, not your partner, not your mom, not your best friend, nobody. Would you feel sad in any capacity if you don't get gifts or you wouldn't be able to buy yourself a gift? I'm truly not trying to be stoic here and implying that, nobody can buy themselves gifts or treats ever. That's really not the point. If you believe or feel that your day would feel or be less special without things, then that feels like, to me, the only way to have an adequate, special, or good enough birthday is because of things. In my opinion, that feels like a dependence on things for happiness. Or even to just feel special. You need stuff in order to feel special, in order to feel happy, which in my mind feels like a validating of yourself, your existence with stuff. I want to feel special and good enough on my own as I am. Whether I buy myself a $50 eyeshadow palette or $100 worth of shoes, that should not make or break my day, how I feel about my birthday, how I feel about me. That's the point psychologically I want to be at. And this is also something that my mindset changed a bit on. I think last year, if you would have asked me, I would have said, no, I didn't get any gifts. We could say like physical gifts, right? I did get a gift card that is very much valued and appreciated, and it was at the time as well. But I don't think I framed the cake my partner bought me as a gift. I think I would have said, yeah, it's a treat, but I think I would have separated those two a little bit. Have you purchased a cake in the last 5 years? Cakes are like $35. Maybe like, okay, I feel like 25 to 40, depending on the cake, depending where you go. And these are also Canadian dollars. That's like kind of expensive. That's a gift, man. And also, my partner bought me something specific. Like, he didn't just go out and buy any cake, which would truly be appreciated on its own. He put that behind it. He went and got me the exact cake that he knew that I loved. It's the most birthday cake you can think of. It's the outside is completely covered in sprinkles, and it's like vanilla and sprinkles on the inside. I'm a basic bitch sometimes, okay? I know it, I love it, I'm fine with that. It was a very considered, thoughtful gift. Did I unwrap anything or get some special box or thing to unwrap? No, I didn't. My framing has really shifted over the past couple of years. In somewhere, I don't know, probably before 2017, 2018, I would have been sad to just go out somewhere. In the last handful of years, I've really come to see the going out, doing something, or eating a dinner as truly a gift, a treat. And gifts and treats, I think, have been separated in my mind and many of our minds. A gift is something that you get, and a treat is something that you enjoy, which could be a physical thing, but doesn't have to be. A gift can really be a dinner out with a friend. And if we can't see those things as gifts either, that just feels sad to me. Sure, I know that there are many of you out there who don't have people in your life to celebrate with, and I get that. I do. And if you feel some type of way about that, that's probably something to investigate. You're allowed to feel sad that you don't have a family member, friend, or partner to celebrate your birthday with. Absolutely, you're allowed to feel sad about that. Earning a treat is also something I came across a lot. Third Wonder writes, you believe that the reward is warranted because of something you've done or continue to do. While I can admit that treats can be motivating, and James Clear himself writes that we need rewards, or rewards are essential for training ourselves or establishing good habits, I should say. He doesn't necessarily mean financial treats or rewards. While conceptually they're similar, this isn't really what I'm referring to. Hopefully we can distinguish this in our minds. The idea that you earn a treat feels a bit slippery to me. Kind of like earning your food through workouts. While there may be exceptions, you don't need to earn treats. And this, I said the word slippery, but I feel like this can be extra layered if one of the main forms of treats is food. It's one thing to get a treat because you had a bad day, but this feels mentally different from earning a treat or deserving a treat. Your existence does not need to be justified, validated, or earned, most especially by work. I was just listening to a podcast that talked about taking your children out for ice cream after they've done something really good helps to create this relationship of food as treats and earning your food. There is crossover, as I just mentioned, because food can be treats. We can develop a very dangerous relationship with treats overall. I think that this could lead somewhere negative because when you're working hard, when you're hustling, when you're meeting your own expectations, yes, you feel up and you feel great. But when you're not, it can have the converse effect. You're feeling like shit. You're feeling like crap. You're not doing enough. You're not where you're supposed to be. And that can be very detrimental. So what is my actual stance on treats and treating yourself? No, it's not buying nothing. Nobody should do it all the time. We've kind of talked about that at the top of the video. That just doesn't really seem helpful, realistic, or practical. And I'm just going to speak personally because you don't have to justify or run your treats or your choices by me. I'm cool with treats if I can financially afford them. And if they stay in the context of a treat. I get Starbucks about 2 to 3 times a month with my partner. And in the context of my life, getting a coffee, let's say once a week, is a treat because doing it more than that, when I look at the grand scheme of a year, I would have to adjust my budget in some kind of way to make room for it. Do I want to save $500 less this year or $1,000 less this year? Or would I want that and save $500 or $1,000 to go to something else that I really need? And I also say afford them in many contexts. Some of you are earning more than me. Some of you are earning less than me. Your equivalent of a $5 a week Starbucks might be $100 a week or $1,000 a week or $2 a week. And there are a lot of behaviors that are very normal, such as a daily coffee, that are treated as a normal occurrence of everyday life and not as treats. Guess what, homie? You might not be able to afford that. And just because it's normal or natural in society or wherever you live or in your friend group doesn't mean you get to do it too. I also acknowledge that I also buy treats when I am having difficulty emotionally regulating, and it is a form of emotional regulation. It happens. I'm good with treats as long as they are occasional. And where I draw the line is it becoming habitual because of one, budget. Like budget is, first and foremost. And sometimes, as I was just talking about, we can harm our budget or our financial health by overindulging in treats. And then also, I think just mentally speaking, in my opinion, when you can acknowledge gifts or treats as such, I think that affects your gratitude and your capacity for gratitude and contentment. We literally can't appreciate the treats in our lives because we can't see them. And I think that there can be somewhat of a sense of entitlement. And also, I do draw the line as well when treats are harming me emotionally. Coping with food, treats, or shopping in ways that, let's just say, arguably aren't impacting me financially, they can be unhealthy coping mechanisms that impact you negatively, emotionally. What I'm trying to say is there a line when a coping mechanism becomes unhealthy. Something like getting my nails done is not a treat because they are expensive. They're, $50-ish bucks. And that is enough to significantly impact my budget or a specific category. Could I save $50 less this month? Sure, I could. But in my mind, what's the point of saving $50 less for a treat like that just in my mind is unnecessary? If I really want something, I can make room for it in the budget, not this month, the next month, like most things you can make room for eventually, but treats aren't always planned, or usually they're not planned. And I just can't be throwing around money on whims like that. Also, by the way, if you do want to buy something for your birthday, save up for it. Like there is, as I've mentioned, there's nothing wrong with buying yourself something for your birthday or getting yourself a treat, getting bigger purchases too. I'm just saying, know how much you're spending and save up for it. I'm not trying to take away all your fun or take away your credit card. Nah, man. I'm just advocating for financial responsibility. And I think some folks, I don't know if this is controversial or not. I'm not trying to be an ass here, okay? I think in some cases, this might not be you, folks don't want to take ownership over their finances. I'm sorry, y'all, but we're living in a shitty time, okay? Our dollar is whack. Inflation is whack. Mortgage prices are whack. Housing prices are whack. I mean, the average price of a home in Ontario is shocking. In most neighborhoods in the GTA, the average price of a home is over $1 million. And with a mortgage that big, you need 20% down. We're talking like years to save up for those kinds of mortgages. Like we're living in a crazy financial time, and there's some scariness around that. I'm not going to derail my financial future because I'm not having enough fun. We talked about being too restrictive and how that can lead to overindulging, but that doesn't mean that we throw out budgets and our financial health out the window. I'm sorry to break it to you, but you're not made of money. All of us have a threshold before we cause ourselves financial harm. Whether you want to admit it or not, we all have a threshold. Some of ours are lower than others. Some of us are, willing to spend more, have more to spend. For me, I'm not willing to go into debt or dip into my savings because I want shoes for my birthday. I'm just not that kind of person anymore. But you have the money, you have the budget, and you want to buy those shoes and it's going to bring you joy and they're fun and you're excited, buy the damn shoes. Listen, if you're somebody who historically overspends on your birthday and you know that, I'm sorry, but the ownership is on you to help yourself. That is being a friend to yourself. That is being kind to yourself. That is self-care. Financial health is self-care, y'all. And the last thing I want to talk about is some of y'all, I feel like, act like saving up is a form of torture. Or being asked to save or not spend money is a form of torture. If it is truly that difficult for you, there are a lot of reasons. I'm not out here to tell you to work harder. I don't have that kind of audacity. But I'm saying if you truly have difficulty not spending money, maybe this is an invitation to consider that, to talk with somebody about that. But also, tell me why being financially responsible, why paying down debt, why saving money, why are these bad things? We frame them so negatively. And one of them is because they're not fun, because we want to have fun on our birthday. We want to buy the treats. I'm sorry, but being financially responsible isn't fun all the time. Not causing financial harm to yourself is not a bad thing. I would love nothing more than for you to buy yourself a cute treat on your birthday that you can afford and it's just fun for you. And I hope you can do that. I really do. And I hope that it's in the budget for you. And if your birthday is some months away, then you can, create a little pocket for your savings to get yourself a fun treat. And if you can't, you're still special and thriving and beautiful, and no thing can tell you or should tell you differently or make you feel differently. And I just feel like we all need to hear that. Let me know in the comments the last dumb shit thing you bought, and number 2, what you got yourself for your last birthday. How do you feel about it? Do you regret it? Do you love it? Was it a good purchase? Let us know. Thanks for watching Hang Out with me today. Hope you enjoyed this video. It's kind of an interesting one, I think. Let me know in the comments all your thoughts and hope to see you again around here soon. Bye.